I still remember that day like it was yesterday. We were about to get our test scores back. And I knew I hadn't done well on this exam, but for some reason, the screen said that I passed. Now, you'd think I'd be excited about this like a regular student, but I wasn't. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally had to come to terms with a decision. I no longer wanted to complete medical school. And this decision hit like betrayal, like I was letting down my parents, my fiance, my mentors, and a version of myself that had worked so hard to get here. It didn't feel like a decision. It felt like collapse, like I was failing. But what if I wasn't? Now, maybe it's not medical school for you. Maybe it's a job that you once celebrated that leaves you depleted. Maybe it's a relationship that no longer feels like home. Or maybe it's a version of yourself that you're pretending to be just to keep others around you comfortable. What if this right here is your turning point? We celebrate new beginnings, new jobs, new relationships, new cities. We post, we toast, hashtag next chapter. But what about the things we leave? Silence. Why? Because we've been taught that if we leave something, we must be failing, especially when we walk away from something without a backup plan. What are we even doing? Well, today I am going to flip that script because I don't think leaving is failing. I think it's becoming. Anytime I've walked away from something, whether by choice or by force, what seemed like an exit or an ending was really just a creative rewrite. It was reworking of a story that no longer fit the version that I was becoming. And I know I'm not the only one. Did you know that 47% of Americans are under constant stress about getting laid off? Maybe some of you sitting here today are going through a transition. Maybe a job has left you. Maybe you have left a job. Or maybe something is quietly asking to expire, but you haven't said it out loud yet. Let me tell you about a time when I decided to walk away from my business. I had built my seven-figure recruiting agency and consultancy from the ground up. Late nights, early mornings, P&L statements, client meetings, and so much of my identity tied to the title founder and CEO. And from the outside, it looked like success. But on the inside, something was shifting. You see, my husband and I were raising two beautiful children. And I felt like I was constantly burned out. And it made sense because I was doing so much all at once, and it made it really hard for me to be truly present for my family. Pretty quickly, my husband accepted another job offer that required him to travel a lot. And now I was left to hold the fort down with my two young kids. And I quickly decided that my kids didn't just need screen time limits and snacks, they needed me, my presence, my stability, and my calm. So I decided to do and make a toughest decision of my life. I decided to step away from my business. And I was actually so happy about it. Today, I work with an incredible company called MStack. They see me, they value me, and I'm able to show up as my authentic self, present, grounded, holistic, not just for my company, but also for my family that matters so much. I once heard a saying that said, don't confuse persistent with alignment. And at first I thought, is this something that people say to themselves when they're about to quit yoga or Pilates? Because I have white knuckled my way through more things than I can count. Jobs, routines, even binge watching TV shows that I no longer enjoyed because I didn't want to be a quitter. We're told to see things through, to give it one more chance, even when that chance drains you. But sometimes staying isn't a strength. It's fear dressed as loyalty. And leaving isn't weakness. It means you're listening to your gut, your energy, and your evolving self. We live in a society that glorifies endurance. Stick it out, push through, power on, give it one more chance. We look at people who've been in jobs for 10, 15, 20 years and we say, wow, they never quit. Well, what about those of us who did? What if walking away from the wrong thing was just as admirable as staying with the right one? Because that's the truth I've lived and the one I want to share with you today. Imagine if we treated every ending with the same celebration that we gave to beginnings. What if you could say, hey, I quit my job? And instead of getting pity, you heard, wow, that's powerful. What are you rewriting? What if layoffs weren't seen as career catastrophes, but creative reboots or rewrites? What if relationships or breakups weren't seen as broken love stories, but just really courageous conclusions? That's what I have noticed. And honestly, that's the truth that I want to share with you today as well. In my opinion, it's not about what's not working. It's about powering through and figuring out what is working for you and giving yourself the opportunity to go that way. Because at the end of the day, you're not quitting, you're choosing alignment over approval, clarity over chaos, and a rewrite over a repeat. So today, I want to ask you for a favor. Put 15 minutes on your calendar, not for a Zoom call or a Teams meeting, not to clear out your inboxes or to go online shopping if you're anything like me. But ask yourself this very important question. What in your life is quietly asking to end? What is something you're clinging onto out of fear and not alignment? I don't think leaving makes you fragile. I think it makes you really breathe. So give yourself that time. Pick one thing. It could be a job, a routine, an expectation you've outgrown. Sit on it, journal on it, because noticing is the first step to a rewrite. I'm here to tell you that leaving doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave. It gives you clarity. You are not failing. You are editing, and you, not anybody else, gets to decide the next chapter. This isn't the end. This is your most powerful turning point yet. Thank you.